All right. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to be brief. I'm going to be talking about transactions and go into a relationship or go into understand the customer. I come from banking, so my example is banking. So forgive me. I won't apologize, but forgive me. I'm going to center around my own business. Basically, we've been automating transaction capability since the 80s. So basically, what we've been doing is pushing our customer further and further away. And I was interested, the panel before was very, very good. It was excellent. But one comment that came up is, do you use AI to know your customer? And basically, what I'm going to show you through here is how we in banking have taken a heck of a long journey and how AI is going to actually change the face of how we look at our customer today. I'm going to skip a lot of slides because the time is tight. And I'm not going to ask these questions. But one thing I always ask people in presentations, and I've been asking this for 20 years, and the answer's never really good, mainly in banking, but how many people, when they talk to a customer, use the name or reference a name? And I've always found it different because, interesting, because many people reference people through numbers, but we always say we're going to be customer centric, or we're going to enlighten our customer. But we're getting better at it at present, so I'm not going to go through this. I'm going to skip through to this slide, and the pack's there for you to read. So what I was talking about is we've been automating for many, many years. It's called around cost efficiency, effectiveness, and making it convenient for our customer. We did it with the ATMs. We've done it with digital. We have been pushing digital to an extreme. In Thailand, I was involved. I used to work for Siam Commercial Bank, and I was part of the digital revolution in Siam Commercial Bank in 2015, 2016. Basically, we've been pushing to make it more convenient for everybody to access the banking services. What have we done is we've actually moved our customer very much further away from where we are. So we've gone through lots of exercises in technology. We've started back in the 90s, which we call propensity analysis. We've done CRM. We have done every level of technology to make sure that we could get back to our customer. But the reality is we're still not there. We still don't understand our customer. So I'm very briefly, in 10 minutes, going to talk about 3 big topics. One is design thinking, one is organizational thinking, and one is then the use of AI in the capability to meet that customer demand. This is an interesting statistic, and it's not from me, it's from a survey that was done by Forrester. And as you can see, we have all said digital is really important. It's really important to all of our businesses. And through the years up until about 20, maybe through the COVID years, we actually saw a dramatic increase in the quality of the overall digital interaction. And then what happened? It's dived. So basically what is happening at present is that we're starting to look at digital more as a commodity. We're not actually thinking about how we want to interact with our customer. We're not actually putting the effort in. It's seen as a channel, not as a customer experience. In some places, they call it a product. I personally don't believe it's a product. It's a basic channel. But what we've lost sight of is the whole thing on customer experience. In many places, and I'll talk about banking very much, but I've seen it in a lot of places, we cram as much product capability into our digital experience on the basis that we think if we cram more in, we're going to sell more. So we're still looking at digital, and I think many industries are still looking at digital as a kind of product push model, not as a customer experience. So one of the things I wanted to mention in this brief presentation is, think about, design thinking. And I'm sure you've all read about it. It's all very good. Empathy, prioritization, ideation, and prototyping. But really, what is it we're trying to actually do? We're trying to understand exactly what our customer wants, not what we want to give them. There's a fallacy that we push product, they're going to buy more. If we align ourselves with their lifestyle, if we align ourselves with what they want to do, then we're going to be in a far, far better position to be able to get their attention and get their should we say, their custom. We've actually made journeys far more complex. This is a really big issue. It's a big problem, because we don't look at what the customer wants. I started in 2015 when we were doing digital in SCB, and we had one idea, one question from our CEO. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to work, I've got no money in my pocket, and I want to buy a coffee. That was the problem we had to fix. And we actually challenged ourselves in those kinds of ways. We challenged ourselves in ways where we started to look at exactly how many clicks it took to do things, but being mindful of security and all of the other things that we've got to do. So basically, the design was around what the customer wanted. And I think that, many organizations have lost sight of that. What is it the customer wants, rather than what is it I want to push to the customer? And so those are the things that I think we've got to actually bring back into our thought process if we want to be customer-centric. I'm not going to go through this slide because we've got little time, but obviously understanding and evaluating how many organizations actually who use digital or customer experience have labs which actually test the customer experience. Really go through and say, how well is that customer interacting? I was fortunate in one organization, we actually had a very big lab that we built. So every interaction that we were looking at, we could work out what was the best way, how they liked it, did it fit with their lifestyle, what was it doing for those? And so this whole mechanism is kind of got lost in the, shall we say, the leap to digital saturation, if I can use that term. So I'm not going to talk about the ethics because it is a very big topic, but ethics to me in the use of digital, in the design of digital, in the design of AI is very important, and we've all got to be mindful, that what we've got to have in front of us is a really good understanding of the ethics that we've got to follow. I know Thailand especially is looking at AI guidance, because it's really important. I know other countries are as well. I think the European Union are more than likely the most advanced in the thinking of this. But I think we've got to be mindful, because it is a powerful tool that we can use, and we can use and abuse if we're not careful. So really looking at how we can actually look at that. And the ethics have got to come from the people who use it, the people who design it. And it's really, really important from my perspective. I'm jumping now to organizational thinking, because in organizational thinking, everyone says it's a channel, it's the front office, it's whoever deals, it's the salesperson. They're the people who deal with customer. And in reality, it's the way in which you design your organization. If you're an organization which is designed around supporting the customer, it's going to actually provide significant growth capabilities. Basically, what you can see is, if we look at the elements of all of these things, the element in relation to, process. When you actually design for customer, you need to change your processes. You need to change your business model. You've got to look at the technology. In banking, we've made huge investments in this, but we're still having to make more investments. You've got to look at the technology capability. This aspect here, ways of working, it's linked with culture, but you've got to change the way in which you work. your team dynamics, how you measure your staff. KPIs are the biggest destroyer of culture. I've been in organizations where we've had micro KPIs. They're there to make sure that everything is efficient. Actually, they are counterproductive at that level. And so they create a way of working, which means you cannot change from one business model to another business model. Change in a micro KPI environment is absolutely impossible. We look at the controls and risks, which are always have to be updated. Control, understanding the risk. I don't think there's many organizations that really understand technology risk. And now that we've got AI, we've got higher levels of technology risk that we've got to be aware of. It is very, very significant that we've got to actually look at it. I mentioned skills and talent. I think the panel mentioned it earlier. Skills and talent, saying I want to be in AI and I want to be digital and I want to be transformed is very good. The investment that you've got to make in the skills and talent is huge. I think Thailand is improving. It's improved a lot in over 10 years, but it's still got a long way to go in growing the capability that we're going to need to be at the top edge of this new revolution on technology. And I would advise every company, everyone will say go and invest in your technology. I would say that's important. Skills and talent, more important. Because if you don't have the people who understand how to make it, one, you're going to make it wrong, so you're going to break ethical rules, you're going to break regulations, you're going to break controls. If you've got people who really don't understand the whole capability, they're going to actually point you in a direction, which could mean that you've got a heavy level of selling or bad operations because they've designed it wrong. Skills and talent are the most important factor. And by the way, the most scarce factor in all of the customers that we talk to. And obviously, we always measure it. But what I'm trying to make clear here is it's a holistic picture. You can't just say, I'm going to do AI, I'm going to do digital, and therefore I'm going to be customer-centric, and I'm going to be better at it. It's not possible without fundamental change in the organization structure. I'm going to, basically, when we get onto AI, and I think you've all read this, you all know this, I'm not going to be like preaching, but there's things that are actually real improvements that are coming through AI. And I'm really trying to get through this, customer services, hyper-personalization. We look at hyper-personalization as one of the major factors within banking, and I'm sure everyone else does. I know the panel mentioned it before. I've looked at this. Now, these are two big examples. You can read them. I'm sure they're going to circulate the pack. But basically, we looked here at one structure and these are actual structures that have been built and working in clients today, where you've used it for call center agencies and making the improvements in the call centers, and then also amplifying the impact of a relationship manager. This, I think, is very, very significant because it actually creates the ability, and it's an augmentation to the people. It's not replacing people, but it's making RMs better to be able to give better advice. And that is Agentic AI that does the thinking, and it actually talks to itself, it improves itself. If anyone wants to talk about Agentic AI, I'd love to have a long conversation. It is the new way, and it is very nascent. 18 months ago, that was not possible. Now it is possible. Agentic AI at scale can be done. And it's being done in different organizations where they actually got the learning. And I'm sure Agentic AI was available in labs and research places earlier. Now we're actually putting it into industry. This, I think, has been discussed, so I'm not going to really go through it. But I'd like to make one point that was made by the panel. It's not a tech initiative. AI is a business initiative. Come back to front to back. You've got to change everything in your organization to leverage it effectively. It's not a pilot. It's not a POC. It's not a self-funding exercise. It's something that you've got to really invest in to actually look at it, to be bold and capable. And I'm really going to skip this because you can read this, because this is where I really want to get to, if I can actually play this. This is showing you the art of the possible. This is possible now. I never believed it until I've looked through the capabilities of Agentic and Gen AI and the way we're advancing in the modeling that we can do. I'll try and play this. No? Oh, there you go.
Today, banking is reactive and transactional, only responding when you reach out. As life moves forward, your bank should move with you. Enter AI First Bank, a trusted partner by your side, ever evolving like you. Meet Mai, a 22-year-old freelancer, and see how Jai, her personal AI assistant from AI First Bank, empowers her as she grows. Mai recently delivered a huge project and is expecting a big paycheck. As the payment hits her account, Jai springs into action. Jai checks her upcoming expenses and monitors the progress on her life goals.
Hello, Mai. After your payments, you've got $28,400 left. Now's the perfect time to invest in your life goals. Let's take a look.
Sure.
You're progressing well with your investments. Congratulations. You're now ready to buy your first car.
Thanks. Can you also put some funds aside for a trip I'm planning in July?
Sure, adding it right away.
As life progresses, there comes a sweet surprise. Mai is engaged. To plan her wedding, she turns to a planner. Jai is right there by her side, helping her plan and manage her wedding expenses, as well as helping her get great shopping deals for her big day.
I found some great deals on flights to Japan. Should we start planning your honeymoon?
You read my mind.
Fast forward to a long-held dream come true. Mai opens her own cafe. Analysing Mai's cafe transactions, Jai grows smarter too, supporting her with the right financial aid even before she asks. Jai also finds the right opportunities for Mai to grow into a seasoned entrepreneur. Soon, her cafe is buzzing with regulars. Her choco chip muffins are local favourite.
Great news, Mai. Your cafe revenue is up by 15% this month. I've increased the limit for your working capital loan. Let me know if you need further help.
Through every stage of her journey, her personal AI assistant from AI First Bank evolves with Mai, learning and adapting to keep pace with her life. From the first paycheck to big commitments and bold dreams, life is constantly changing.
Okay, I think it sounds surreal that there's only machines behind all of that. It is real. I actually know this for a fact because in one bank organization, we put in completely automated lending with no people involved, from targeting out to the customer and actually doing the inspections and the credit decisioning. We put that in 8 years ago. This is possible. The models are available. The thinking is that how do you actually think through this? And it's the people who have got the knowledge of how they understand the relationships and how they do that are going to be able to help build those kinds of models. Thank you very much.